So here we are with this second episode of The Flash season 2. End of last episode, we had Jay Garrick showing up with we're going to see his gold little Flash helmet, and it's going to be so much fun. So it's going to be really cool to see how he fits in, and then also we had that really brief introduction of Zoom. It was also brought up when the Flash stopped by a funeral on Arrow. We don't know whose funeral it is. And I feel like we're going to have a lot of crossovers between those shows because, Oliver did bring up Zoom, like, oh, you're dealing with Zoom? So I feel like there's going to be a lot of crossover between those two shows. Plus, of course, we're getting more crossovers with Legends of Tomorrow. Firestorm is going to be going over to that show, so that's going to come up somehow. Last week we saw how Ronnie ended up dying. And we know that we are still going to have a Firestorm, so we know the second half of that is coming back, and we know who it is, but we don't know yet how that's going to happen. I think that these three shows are going to be so intertwined, it's going to be impossible to talk about one without talking about the other. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up that if you are behind on Arrow, I apologize, because I think that it's going to be really difficult to just talk about only one show. So spoiler alert, except for Arrow's not until tomorrow night, and you should be watching it anyway.
Multiverse would be a more apt description. Nope, not helping. Bless your heart. Okay, see if this helps. Listen, Officer
Spivot, Patty Spivot.
So that's where we're getting Patty Spivot from.
I want to help you, Barry, not harm. You're not the first person that said that to me.
It's interesting to see Barry turn from such a naive person that trusted so many people to now he's not ready to trust anyone. It's definitely an interesting change in his character, because if you remember when we started, he was so naive and so trusting, and so that's definitely a character development thing. How come those metahumans retain their abilities, whereas Jay Garrick lost his when he came over? That does seem a little odd. Maybe they'll explain it.
The whole naming the bad guys thing, that's my jam. But you know what? I'm gonna let you have that one, because I actually kind of like it. I'm not mad at that one. I was gonna say, because it looks a lot smaller on you, right?
I feel like Pride is gonna be Barry's downfall this episode. Well, she is persistent. Slightly annoying, but persistent.
Calling himself the Green Arrow has spawned a massive outcry.
I hate it when they put a color in their name.
I like Cisco starting to get the vibe powers, which is kind of cool. It's slowly happening, and he's slowly realizing. So, it's kind of interesting to see another origin story. We're getting vibe now, so I'm wondering about Killer Frost, if that's not far behind.
And he will do whatever it takes to ensure he's the only speedster in any world.
Sounds a lot like Reverse Flash.
Sand Demon showed up. I get a vibe. Of course, there isn't just one breach. There's 52 of them scattered throughout the city.
These breaches are pockets of time
52
and
Earths.
space folded into and...
Dr. Harrison Wells.
So which Earth is this? And is that actually Harrison Wells?
This is Rose Makida, and all new episodes
Or
on
is it
coming up
Eobard?
on the CW.
Okay. What?
Okay, son.
A lot happened in this episode. First of all, we found out that not only is there one portal, so we know about Earth 2 because Jay Garrick came in, but there's 52 portals. Wonder where that number came from. Jay Garrick is now from what they're calling Earth 2. It was interesting to see that Jay doesn't have his powers, and yet the other metahumans from his world do. So I'm not sure how that works, and I'm hoping that they're gonna delve more into that. They get to see, him and Barry teaming up to save Patty, and of course that iconic image from the Flash, the cover where they're both coming after. Oh, help me in there! I'm coming, and behind, with the column between them. So. That was good that they got that out. Of course, Patty Spivot was now introduced as a character, which we knew was coming. Possible love interest for Barry. They really seem to be hitting on that pretty hard. And she is adorkable, kind of irritating. And then the tail end thing that happened was we finally see where Tom Cavanaugh's fitting in. in one of the parallel worlds, now they didn't say if it was going to be Earth 2 or they weren't really clear, is that he's Harrison Wells. But here's the question, is he Harrison Wells or is he Eobard Thawne? Like, is he the good guy? Is he the bad guy? And we did get a good look at Zoom, who was fighting with Jay Garrick's Flash in his world. And we know that he is sending these metahumans to Earth 1, I guess I'll start calling it, to go after Barry, because this guy just wants to be the ultimate speedster, and so he's wanting to kill all the other speedsters, which is odd. It's like, I just want to be the only one. So he's sending out all these metahumans from his world to try to kill the Flash. And I'm not 100% sure why he doesn't try to kill the Flash himself. Like, why is he just like, oh, it's below me? Or what? So you're going to see when we actually get to see Barry's Flash fight Zoom. And if Jay's going to get his powers back, and is he going to become a more permanent member of the team, or is it someone that they're just going to go to sometimes? And then, like, how is he establishing himself in a completely new Earth? And does that mean that there's another Jay Garrick out there in Earth 1? I mean, it is kind of confusing. The whole parallel universe thing, it opens a lot of questions. But I love the fact that we're, like, diving headfirst into the multiverse theory. Do know that there's going to be Wally West, so we're going to get at least another speedster. The other interesting development, of course, is, Cisco is developing his vibe powers. He does not seem to want them, which is funny because I think he really did want superpowers, but there's a thing in him that sees them as being from Wells and therefore bad. And he seems to be really pushing against them. So it'll be interesting to see how he slowly becomes Vibe and if he accepts it, how he accepts becoming Vibe. If you like watching TV shows with me, you can subscribe to my channel right there, push the button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!